Are you an empty nest mom? Are you trying to figure out what you're going to do with all your extra free time now that your kids are grown? Are people telling you that you should just get a hobby, but you don't even know where to begin? I got you. Stay tuned. Hey people, it's Shelly, the gray-haired mama, and I am here for moms over 55 who want to thrive in this season of their lives. So if that's you, you've come to the right place. So you should hit that subscribe button. Okay, so your kids are all grown, they're out of your hair, and you are an empty nester. Congratulations! So what do? You go online, and all of the articles say you should be thrilled and happy because now, as an empty nester, you have all the time in the world to do all the things you used to love to do. They say you could reconnect with your old self. They say you should be having the time of your life. I don't know about you, but after all these years of raising kids, I don't even remember my old self. Anyway, they say that empty nesters now have time to work on their hobbies. Hobbies. What hobbies? For a lot of moms I know, their kids were their hobby. I mean, after working all day, whether inside or outside the home, evenings and weekends were spent chauffeuring the kids around or attending kids' activities or doing things that centered around the children. So who had time for a hobby? And now they're saying, get a hobby? Who are they kidding? I don't know. But somehow you need to come up with a hobby that you've never had before that's going to fill your time and use your energy the way your kids used to. Yeah, right. Let me suggest something. Before you go running off to Michael's and spending $800 on jewelry making supplies, just breathe. Yes, take a breath. You have just completed the Herculean task of raising a member of the next generation, and you deserve a moment to reflect. You deserve a moment to feel all of the emotions that go along with that accomplishment. And by the way, it would be even better if you had some friends to rally around you as you were doing that right about now. But if you don't have any friends, I have a video that tells you exactly how to find some friends, and I will link that video in the description box below. At any rate, after you have ample time to reflect and cry it out, you still need to get a hobby. But where do you start? Well, if you're an artsy crafty kind of girl, there's jewelry making and drawing and candle making and sewing and knitting and crochet and coloring, embroidery, painting, pottery, glass art, scrapbooking, card making, flower arranging, calligraphy, photography, sand art, soap making, flower pressing, origami, quilting, stamping, woodworking, and tie-dye. And I know I missed a bunch, but you can just take that trip to Michael's and walk up and down the aisles and catch all the ones I missed. But goodness knows not everybody likes arts and crafts. In fact, some people would rather go for a colonoscopy than fiddle around with those arts and crafts. So I will discuss some other options in a minute. But I don't want you to miss the bigger point here. People are telling you to get a hobby because they figure that getting a hobby will help you fill the void that you now feel because the main purpose of your life, that is, your children, have just taken up their little stuff and walked out the door. Look, I don't care how much you love making soap. Soap making alone is not going to fill that void. Now, if you're able to maybe turn your hobby into a business or somehow attach a greater purpose to that hobby, then you may be onto something. But more on that later. I promised that I would list a whole bunch of other hobbies, and I'll do that now. But after that, I want to get real with you about what get a hobby really means. Okay, now for the list. We've got cooking, baking, canning, cake decorating, gardening, couponing, upcycling, dancing, yoga, meditation, writing, interior decorating, decluttering and organizing, taking online courses, playing an instrument, learning magic tricks, walking, swimming, hiking, running, exercising, Zumba, biking, playing tennis, bowling, skating, skiing, fishing, boating, singing, acting, reading, watching Netflix or Hulu or regular TV, listening to music, playing cards, playing board games, doing puzzles, camping, traveling, bird watching, golf, volunteering. That's a long list. And believe it or not, there are tons more out there. But I think you got the idea. But as promised, here's the truth about getting a hobby when your kids are grown. If you're like most moms, it doesn't matter what else you were doing while you were raising your children. Your children and their well-being were your main purpose in life. Raising them to the point that they were normal, functioning, and relatively successful adults was your most important goal in life. And you felt that way for good reason. Your children are your legacy. No matter what else you have going on, they are the most important people that you will leave behind on this earth. Jackie Kennedy said, "If you bungle raising your children, I don't think whatever else you do matters very much." I'll say that again. If you bungle raising your children, I don't think whatever else you do matters very much. That's what Jackie Kennedy said. And it was one of my mother's favorite quotes. So, of course, your heart and soul are invested in your children from the very moment they come into your life. And naturally, you feel out of sorts when they walk out that door and take your life purpose with them. Look, you're going to have to accept that feeling and truly acknowledge it. See, when you recognize what is really going on, you will understand the kind of void these articles are expecting a hobby to fill. Put it bluntly, a plain old run-of-the-mill hobby is simply not going to fill that void. That's why you need to be much more expansive in your thinking when considering what you're going to do with your newly acquired free time. Find a hobby. Sure, absolutely, find a hobby. But maybe that hobby can become a business or a side hustle. Or perhaps you could expand that hobby so that it benefits other people. For instance, if you take up knitting, maybe you can knit hats for the little babies in the NICU at the nearby hospital. The bottom line is, now that your kids are grown, you're going to need to discover a new focus for your life. And it doesn't have to be just one thing. A hobby can be just one of the things that you'll focus on in this new season of your life. In the next video, we will discuss some other things that you can focus on. So please don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it. And until that time, you take excellent care. Bye.